there is a difference between GLP-1 and the GLP-1 drugs, the GLP-1 receptor agonists, the secretin mimetics, whatever the term is. You cannot get GLP-1 because that's what happens inside of your body. And that's very different than these foreign compounds that you're putting in. A lot of people sit there and think, oh, it's small. The problem is it's like time zones. We're in daylight savings time. And Arizona is unique because we don't observe daylight savings time. And it confuses the crap out of a lot of people. If you and I were setting up that meeting and I said Mountain Standard Time, you would probably set it up for Mountain Daylight Time.
Right.
So you think, oh, it's benign. It has profound implications if used improperly.
So
my first career was funded by the National Institute of Diabetes, Digestive, and Kidney Disorders. And this is where obesity falls into. I was funded by them to study pre and type 2 biomarkers of pre and type 2 diabetes. At that point in time, there were no GLP-1 receptor agonists, but there was growing interest around the biology of just endogenous GLP-1. The work that we did was to get an analytical test so we could study GLP-1 of what goes on inside you or me. The issue is it's a really crappy biomarker because it degrades so quickly. That prevented GLP-1, like you're familiar with insulin. Insulin is very similar to the insulin that is produced by your body, and you can make it and you put it into the body and your body tolerates it well. You can't do that with endogenous GLP-1 because it just gets degraded. The moment it hits your bloodstream, you have maybe 3 minutes before it can actually go and do its job. It's small, it gets cleared by the kidneys. There's enzymes inside the blood that just start cutting it up and obliterating it, making it non-functional. I'm very critical of the GLP-1 receptor agonists. I do not like the way that the marketing is being developed around them. I do not like the way that they're being expanded, and I do not like the way that they're being offered to people with no level of discipline or accountability of their own lifestyle choices. Even though they marketed this is natural, it isn't natural. So if you go and you look at the history of the GLP-1 receptor agonist, one of the first ones was Zenotide. And then there was this progression into, instead of doing once a day administration, let's do once a week. And so then they started morphing and changing the molecules, even though they are addressing the aspect of obesity. And it's one of those things like obesity and metabolic health. Pardon my colorful metaphor. It's almost like a no shit. But there's much more sinister things that are taking place. Yes, do we have an obesity epidemic here in the US? Absolutely. But we also have a lack of lean muscle mass epidemic as well. And that is extremely important, possibly even more important than the obesity aspect, because our muscles are such metabolic drivers towards health. That gets left out of the equation so much. The reason why I tie that back in to the GLP-1 RAs is simply because they're seeing now, and I'm seeing in some of the newer research, that up to 50% of the weight loss that the people are experiencing is sarcopenia.